Hey there, buddy. All right, before we start, let's give some thanks. Inspect All Pest Services, the title sponsor for Podcast Imports 3, which you can get your tickets at distinctgrace.com. Providing the highest quality termite, pest, and wildlife control. That's not all. They'll take care of your insulation, pressure washing, gutter maintenance, and other home services in Metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. InspectAllServices.com. The Mad Dog, Manny Aurora. TheAuroraLawFirm.com, based out of Georgia, but litigates all over the United States. Criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, and more. Get a hold of the Mad Dog if you need him. Need help? Get help. Talking about therapy. Ridgeline Counseling. Dr. David Markwell is the best in the business. 3 locations there in Georgia if you want to pop in. One across from Freebae High School in Sandy Plains in East Cobb. Marietta near the square, and McKaysville outside of Blue Ridge. But he can do virtual sessions anywhere. That's what I do. Shoot him an email, ridgelinecounseling@gmail.com, or online, markwelltherapy.com. And FBC Insurance, servicing Alabama, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, and Virginia. Shop over 35 A-rated companies. Great for us new homeowners. I just picked them up for my new home that I'm going to own. Or to reshop your current insurance policies, multi-policy, bundle discounts, whether it's your house, flood, auto, motorcycle, boat, recreational vehicle, or personal policy, they got you. Email them, info@fbcinsuranceservices.com, or call 888-308-1841, or you can get a quote there online. Very easy. fbcinsuranceservices.com. If you'd like to sponsor the show, please reach out. We'd love to have you. Just go to thebaileyshow.com, an easy person to find, either that or on any of the social medias, and we'll talk. All right, let's begin.
What do we want to talk about?
To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Welcome to the Bailey Show podcast. A guy show women love to listen to.
Intellectually immature nonsense.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS.
Okay, man, let's do it.
All right, there it is, episode 212 of the BS. Thanks for being here. My name's Jason Bailey. Right there, that's the Iron Fisted one, Mr. Chuck Lunsford. Hello, Iron Fist.
What's up, man? You've been following this whole drama with my water bill?
Oh, I saw you post something on the social media where it was like $700-800. You know what? Actually, I tried to I responded and I didn't hit the little arrow thing. What I was going to tell you is that you can hire someone to come out and check for leaks, and it's like to have them come out. But I had the very similar problem when I lived in Georgia a couple different times. And if it's there's a website called Aqua Hawk, I believe it is, and it tracks your water, and they'll be able to tell you if it's like that slow drip, drip, drip. It's most likely it's coming from probably one of two places. Most likely it's coming from a toilet.
Nope.
Okay, so well, then spoiler alert. Then if not, go out to your irrigation and look around your yard for any bubbles.
Yeah, so I called plumber after plumber, dude. And you just reminded me, I'm actually texting the company right now because I had another company coming out to do the leak finding. What's it called? Like findaleak.com or something like that. I don't know what they are. But anyway, so all these plumbers come out. Roto-Rooter, dude. Huge hats off to Roto-Rooter. They came out for free, looked at everything, and was like, okay, your meter's not moving. We're going through 28,000 gallons of water a month. And my meter was not moving when they were here. He's like, this is crazy. So he's going through everything. I had turned off the irrigation system when I saw like how bad it was, and turned it off to the house. Dude, it was a mess. This whole thing's been a freaking nightmare because every plumber's different. They're like, oh, you got a leak going into your slab. 28,000 gallons. That's a lot. You're probably going to pretty much have to burn your house down and start over. I mean, it was like, dude, this has been a stressful freaking weekend and week and whatever. So anyway, so the Roto-Rooter guy comes out and he goes, dude, let's test it one at a time. So we do the irrigation system and it's nothing. There's no leak. Then he's like, turn the irrigation system on. So I did. bro, it looked like the freaking nuclear power plant from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Like the meter was like it was. He's like, dude, you're kicking out way too much water here. So I thought if you had a leak in your irrigation system, if you left it on, it would just automatically leak. Well, apparently the leak is at the end of the line somewhere. So when the sprinklers come on, instead of using, I don't know, 100 gallons of water is what I'm guessing, it was like it would have been 2 to 3,000 gallons of water for that one cycle. So that's where it's at. So now your obvious question is, well, how are you going to get it fixed? I know a guy that does irrigation systems,
Freeman.
and I know he's looking for a place to stay October 12th. So I'm thinking when he gets here, he just works that day, right? Fixes my irrigations. I don't need irrigation before then. Screw it. We're on like a drought watch anyway. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have him fix my irrigation system for free. And then, boom, I give him a tent in the backyard. He can enjoy it.
So another thing to look at too is for all of your zones in your irrigation, there's a filter, and the smallest piece of dirt that can get caught in that can cause a leak. So have Brandon come out and go through your different, like there's one section where it has all these little filters for your irrigation, and you pull it out. One little speck can ruin it all. Like the smallest piece of dirt, it's so fragile. It's ridiculous, because I had that happen to me. So yeah, seriously. I mean, it might not, like, you think of a leak in an irrigation system, you think of like the pipe is cut and there's water going everywhere, which could be it. But if you're going to troubleshoot, they always start at the filters, and if they find, because it'll knock it off. It's like, I don't know. You got to ask an irrigation guy. The B man, Brandon Thrasher, not with us once again. He's still caring, with his grandmother, going to the hospital. So I appreciate everybody that reached out on social media. That was real cool. Continue to send your thoughts and prayers to the Thrasher family. Haven't gotten much of an update. So whatever's going on, we're thinking about you, Brandon, and we love you. And we want nothing best for Grandma Thrasher. It's just a tough spot. But I would probably get him out. Let's wait till he gets past the grandma stuff.
Yeah. yeah. I won't hit him. I don't need irrigation, man. I mean, I don't know what it means. Because, you've lived in Georgia before. I don't know what it means when it's like, hey, we're on a water use advisory. And then they're like, it's not illegal to to water your lawn. It's not illegal to wash your car, but it's highly, what they say? Like they frown upon it, essentially. What does that freaking mean? Like, who's out there just like letting the hose run for 12 hours anyway? So we're already kind of cautious, or, conscientious.
Conscientious.
Thank you. Can't say the fucking word. But I mean, it's just, I don't know what it means. So I'm not watering the lawn anyway. If it all dies, it all dies. I don't care anymore.
It means if you have a nosy neighbor that just wants to be a pain in your ass, that Lunsford guy's got his water on. I'm calling the police.
Joke's on him. It's all underground. Can't see it.
I want to say congratulations. By the way, it's a Freebae episode. So for those that don't subscribe, welcome. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. We do hope that you subscribe. The episode we put out yesterday was amazing with Alex Moreno. I mean, this guy's story, over and over again, so many years, most of his life spent behind bars. And the end result is him having a multi-million-dollar company. That's the short version. You've got to hear the full version, and you can do that. That was in a sub episode. So, it's $4.99 a month, pays the bills. This is my life. This is what I do. This is what we do. If you could help contribute either by that or being a sponsor or whatever, be a part of the process. Some people get it, some people don't. For those, thank you very much. But if you go to thebaileyshow.com, there's a subscribe button right there on the homepage. You subscribe, boom, it takes you to Spotify. Different than subscribing to Spotify, you have to subscribe to the podcast. Subscribing to Spotify is free, and then you can upgrade it to premium. That does not include the podcast. So they have their thing. I have my thing. Podcasters have their thing. So you got to subscribe, and it'll send you a subscription thing. And, thank you. We've had a good run of subscriptions for the past month, actually the past couple of months. So they keep going up. So thank you to those that do that. And thanks for those that share and get other people. Had somebody reach out and say, a two-peer, God, what was his name? A two-peer had sent him, because I always ask you guys to share the content and stuff. Somebody had shared one of our, what I call snaps, so small videos. They thought it was funny. They wanted to hear the full episode. They subscribed just to hear the full episode. They were hooked. Now they're a subscriber. So that's how it happens. And that's all thanks to that two-peer. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. I want to say congratulations to one of my mentors, my main mentor, a man by the name of Johnny Magic, who's been on this podcast. Years ago, we had Johnny on. Johnny was just inducted into the Florida Broadcasters Hall of Fame. That is a huge honor. I mean, he was there like he's in this Hall of Fame with like Rush Limbaugh and Phil Hendry and big names like that. Johnny has earned every single bit of that little trophy that they gave him. He is not only a fantastic broadcaster, he's a better person, and he was a great mentor. He still is a great mentor to me. I still ask for advice from Johnny. So to see good people get rewarded for being a good person in an industry that is filled with 98% of assholes, it's good to see. It made me feel good to see him go in there, and it just gives me hope. Well, I mean, he's getting up in age. He's probably going to retire soon. So there goes the good people in radio.
It gives you hope for what?
Good people in radio.
Oh, I thought you meant like good, like gives you hope that one day you'll also be inducted into the Florida Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was, I always had dreams of getting an award. I think.
Stupid. What do you mean get an award? Like any award? I'll send you an award.
Yeah, doing something good that you would be rewarded, like in the business, like being recognized by your peers, I guess. And I think years ago, I might have won something like from a local magazine or something like that. And I felt good. It was cool. I was never one to politic for those things. Not that he politicked for this at all. That's not what I'm saying. But in my case, I never politicked like vote me best morning show or vote me. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. I just never was good at it. That's my point. Whether I would have won or not, I don't know. I tried to politic, but I would do it like once and then never do it again.
Why you feel weird doing it?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, this is just me after doing a run of asking people to subscribe to the podcast. It's different. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's different. I think because on the radio, especially lately, like my last gig, it's like you only had so much time. That's the problem with the radio. Like you only have so much time. And in my head, I'm like, okay, if you're giving me 8 minutes to do content, which is not long enough for me. If you're giving me 8 minutes to do content and I'm going to take, in order to sound authentic, I got to take at least 3 minutes to politic for this thing. Right. And it's pretty much a commercial for me, and which is kind of what it is. It's self-serving. So that only leaves me 5 minutes of the content that I want to get into, which is definitely not long enough. So that's kind of how I'm overanalyzing each segment. When I was doing talk radio, it was different. You could take as much time as you wanted for the most part. I'd have 20-minute segments, which was fine. So I don't know. But yeah, that was always it'll never happen because I'll never be in that situation to earn said award. And I've never done anything in the business to reap that award. I've done some cool shit, but my man Johnny's been doing it for over 40 years and consecutively had success in one place. Outside of when he was younger, he started his career in North Carolina, but he's been in Orlando ever since. That was probably maybe a mistake that I made. I don't know, of not staying in one place for a long time, but I never felt that I would have gotten my due if I stayed in Orlando doing radio. I definitely would have never made the money. I would have never made the two-peer, the support that, this show has in Georgia, which is our, biggest audience still. Never would have had that, never would have done a lot of things that I did. So, you know, you can't go back and play the what if game, but you know, it is what it is.
I think you have a hard time receiving accolades for things like, especially like, you know, you've explained like you went through a lot of crap over the last year, and I think when people look at you and they're like, dude, I can't believe, you know, you've done so good, you're so resilient, the way that you've handled this whole situation, it makes you feel uncomfortable, doesn't it, when people say that to you?
Yeah, I don't like compliments.
It's so funny because you hate it. You hate it. Like I don't know. I think it's funny to watch because when people try to tell you like, man, you know, especially with the resiliency and, you know, putting, you know, having this show and moving to Florida and going through all the crap you go through with the houses and the lawyers and everything. And as soon as you'll complain, but as soon as somebody's like gives you a compliment about how well you're handling it, you're like, oh God. Like you get that awkward feeling like, oh, I'm not, you know, that's weird.
Said that I've never won an award, but I don't do well with compliments, you know. Hey, we want to present you with something. Like, no, I don't want it.
Yeah, you're that awkward, like, I want to thank everyone. Like it's just awkward. So I like it. I think it's funny. Well, just so you know, man, I think you're doing a great job. And I'm so proud of you and what you've done. And it's funny because you're looking awkward right here.
Well, I've always been like a giver, not a taker. Like for birthdays and Christmas, I love to give prizes. Like
Yeah.
prizes, and I don't like to accept them. The funny thing is I very rarely get what I give, and so I'll bitch behind closed doors, going, "What the shit, man?" You know, like I took care of this person, like I gave this person. You know, but it's so hypocritical of me, you know, but on the other hand, I'm like, I don't want that. You know what I mean? So
Dude, I got to tell you. So we had a white elephant. You've done white elephant secret, and not it's not Secret Santa, white elephant, where everybody brings a gift and you write down like how many gifts you have, and then you're like, okay, we got 25 people, 25 gifts. We're gonna do the white elephant. So this year at my house, I drew number 25. 25. That's how many people were here for this Christmas party. We get to 24. Dude, there's no more gifts. The gifts are all gone. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I didn't want to make it like a scene about it. And so I'm like, I didn't say anything. And my wife's like, hey, where's your gift? And I was like, well, there's not enough gifts. Like there's only 24 gifts, but there's 25 numbers. And she's like, well, that means that somebody got a gift that didn't bring one. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, are you going to say something? I'm like, no. like it's just, and people were coming up to me after like, hey man, weren't there like, how did you not get a gift? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, I'm not that guy. To me, like you said, I'll complain about it now and be like, who shows up to a freaking party without a gift and leaves with one? Like, what kind of freaking sociopath are you that like, I can't even imagine being like, yeah, dude, give me a number, taking a gift. And then they're like, which one did you bring? I'm like, I didn't bring one. I just wanted to get one from the tree. It drives me nuts. But again, did I say anything? No. Just let it go, man. Just like, all right, cool, whatever.
it was the award ceremony for Johnny took place this past weekend, and some people that were there with him. I mean, he had some big names from iHeartMedia that flew in just to watch him accept this award. His show was there, which, you know, they should have been, and they were, which is cool. And I was getting videos and text messages from somebody at the table. And I was out of town. I was at the University of Alabama for my daughter's orientation, which I'll get into here in a second. And I was like, I had tears in my eye. I had tears in my eyes of joy, just because, you know, it was like I could go back to 95 like it was yesterday, and how time has gone by so fast. And I was so happy for him. I was happy for the business. You know, the industry. Just because I pick apart the radio industry doesn't mean I don't love the radio industry. I do it because I love the radio industry. And I can go back to 95 when technically, like, Johnny was, his partner at the time was a guy named Doc. It was the Doc and Johnny Morning Show. And this is, they're based out of Orlando, for those that don't know, on a radio station that I started at, XL 1067. And it's a top 40 station. And that's where I started. Started as an intern and then became a producer and then became a on-air personality and then went over to the rock station to do my own thing when it was time for me to go. But I could go back, like I'm getting these pictures and it's just like I'm having this rush, this rush of memories. And I was sad, happy, because he was, that show at the time was pretty new. I mean, they had just they were I think 4 years into the game. They might have been into their second contract or something. So they were still trying to find their footing. And it was just simpler times. It was just so simple. And, you look at everything that's changed now with technology in the business and all the rules and the analytics and the science and all this stuff. And I always say the art museum is being run by scientists, and it just drives me insane. And the hypocrisy I know hypocrisy is everywhere, but the hypocrisy in the radio business, it blows my mind, and I'm a guy that for the most part doesn't forget. Like if you tell me something, like if you're my boss and you tell me to do something or suggest that I do something one day and I do it, and then the next day you say the fucking opposite, I'm confused. I'm trying to do the right thing and it doesn't make any sense. So what do? I do the wrong thing, of course. I say, dude, just fucking yesterday you said this. And of course, what do they say? No, I didn't. You don't have any proof of it. And you're the low man on the totem pole. Doesn't make any sense. So for Johnny to accept this award, and I had sent him a message the night prior talking about absorbing the day. Not that I have to preach to this man, but I was just absorb the day, man. Absorb more than just the trophy. Absorb what you've done for not only you, but for everyone else. The general public has no idea about more than half the stuff that this man has done off the air for other people. I mean, that's how good of a man this is, not just for me, but for anybody, I mean, for charities and, behind the scenes and just his presence. He's one of those guys that can walk down the hallway, say something or do something, and he's taught a lesson. And it's just up to the people, around him if they want to learn the lesson. I was a sponge. I absorbed everything that man told me and taught me. Whether I used it properly or not, I don't know. But and I told him, I was like, any ounce of success that I've ever had, I owe to you. There's no doubt. 100%. I owe any ounce of success that I've had. And I've had a little bit. I owe it all to you. I would have never had it if it weren't for you. Every day I will have a flashback of something that you taught me, whether you're yelling at me or not. I learned it, but it was a different day and age. It was a different generation of learning too. I mean, that dude, I remember there's a thing that they used to do for Easter. It's this Easter basket thing. I don't know. It's an Easter thing. And the night before I went out and drank, I was young, partied, showed up. I was probably dragging ass. I'm sure I was. And he pulls me aside and rips me to shreds. I mean, just absolutely, which is not his MO, but the man's passionate, rips me to fucking shreds. And I even think he did it in front of people. Mm-hmm. In my head, I'm going, fuck you, old man. And he wasn't old. He was late 20s, maybe 30s. I'm out of here. But I didn't. You know why? Because he was right and I was wrong. But today, if you were to do that to somebody, in which I've done many times, it's go to HR. It's Bailey's a bad person. It's those, you're not understanding that it's not personal. It's business. And sometimes you get caught up in the heat of the moment because at that time I was representing his brand. It wasn't my brand. It was his brand. I was a nobody. I was lucky enough to be there representing his brand. And I was fucking it up just that one day. I needed my ass chewed out and he did it. One of the best lessons I ever learned, but I was telling him, absorb the day, because if people don't want to listen to you, then that's on them, right? You're giving good advice.
Did he respond to you?
Yeah, he did. Supposedly he talked about it on the air too, said something, I don't know, but Yeah, he responded. Of course he did. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, like we just talked about, when you give accolades to somebody, some people have a very hard time accepting when people tell them like, you did a good job, man. You did a great job, and I think that's really hard, especially for somebody that, you know, they just do it. I think a lot of people just do good things. They just use their position or they use their platform for good. And when people tell them like, man, not everybody would have done that. It's hard for them to understand. It's hard for them to kind of wrap their brain around like, no, everybody would have done what I did. Everybody would have done that.
I think in Johnny's case, I mean, he's a very humble guy, but I think in Johnny's case, and this is just me guessing, is that when he knew he was getting this award into the Florida Broadcasters Hall of Fame, and he went up and accepted that award, I think his mindset was, you're damn right I deserve this.
Which is good. That should be your mindset. I mean, if you do the right thing and you put that much blood, sweat, and tears into it, and you've done good things, you've made changes in people's lives, it's good to be able to sit back and be like, yeah, man, you're damn right. I deserve this award. I'm going to take it and put it on my mantle.
It's not about the bits. It's not about, the phone calls and the events and all that kind of stuff. It's about surviving the business, survived the business for that long. Obviously I did not. But
yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. I'm not in the business.
You're still in the business. I think, this business that you're in now is just it's 1000% what radio and entertainment is turning into. You're evolving. You're just evolving ahead of your time. And maybe not even ahead of your time, maybe just in the nick of time, you're evolving. So I think when people are leaving, I mean, do you think that's one of the reasons that he's retiring, correct?
No.
Oh, they gave him the award and he's still like doing it?
Okay.
That's baller, dude.
Yeah.
That's baller.
Show's still top, I mean, it's a great show. He's got a great cast. He's got great support team. And, I mean, like you can't turn on morning radio in this market without him. Like, that change will be detrimental to the market. That is an end of an era. And that's what kind of made me sad is that, when you start to get to that point in that age and you start accepting these types of awards, you're like, what's next? And the way the business is changing, what are they going to do? I like to see what iHeart has done with him, because at one time they were not all in. At one time they wanted to take a syndicated show and put that show in his place when the Doc part of the Doc and Johnny left. They're like, he can't do it. And then there was one person that stood up for him. Her name is Linda Bird. She is the greatest market manager in the history of radio. And she's since retired. I mean, she still got I think she still takes part in stuff, but she's the greatest market manager in the history of radio, in my opinion. And she was the one that went to management and put her ass on the line and said, no, this is my guy. You're going to give him a chance. He deserves it. And he did. He ran with it. And I remember him saying on the air, he says, we're going to do it until the wheels fall off, and they not only succeeded, they over succeeded. And that's a great story, but it was because he had support from the market manager. Nowadays, that shit doesn't happen. Now, nobody supports anybody. Nobody wants to put their ass on the line for anybody, So,
well, I think that, my job is to fact check you whenever I can. And when you tell a lie, a blatant lie, I feel like I have to at least call you on it. And what you said earlier, you said, when people tell me things, I don't forget. And that, sir, is a lie. Because since I've been working with you, I think that you purposely forget half the things I tell you. And like, I don't know, like, hey, dude, is there any day you can't record? And I'll tell you a day and you're like, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm going in the studio with Will. And you're like, okay. And then you'll send me an email and the recording is literally the day of, during the time I'm in the studio. And I go, what the fuck? And I'll send you an email and I'm like, hey, dude, like this, this is, and you're like, oh, you didn't even tell me that. So I think you have like a selective listening and selective, what's the word? Informational download that you do. So I think when some people tell you things, sometimes you do forget or you choose to act like you forgot. I haven't really decided yet. I'm still feeling that out. I haven't decided if it's purposeful or if you're just doing it on accident.
In your case, that is totally incorrect. You are so high maintenance when it comes to that.
Oh my God, I'm not high maintenance.
You will send me 5 different texts, read 5 different ways, and it gets to a point where I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to send this out. And if it works, it works. And
you know what you are? You ever seen the Key and Peele skit where he sends a text and he's all like, hey, dude, what are you doing? And then Key looks at it and he's like, and he reads it in a totally different way. And he's like, I don't care. Let's go. He's like, oh, I don't care. Let's go. All right, let's go, man. Like, and he like takes it the wrong way. You read text messages very awkwardly, but I will tell you, out of you saying I'm high maintenance, we just had this conversation about me going on a vacation. And I said, dude, I'm taking all this stuff with me because I want to make sure I'm there for you. I want to make sure that I'm able to pop up. I will be in front of the freaking Eiffel Tower with my computer going, I'm going to do a podcast show with Jason Bailey. And I'm going to grab a Frenchman, maybe a couple police officers, and we're going to do it for you. But I'm high maintenance. Dude, that's like the least out of all the things I am. High maintenance is at the bottom of the list. You know that.
We agree that your organization skills are not up to par.
No, I think I'm too organized for you. I think I'm taking it to the next level and you are having a hard time keeping up with the organization. That's what I think. I think you've never worked with somebody that's more organized than you are.
Oh my God. That is the farthest thing from this. This is one of those situations where you need to take a step back and you need to ask somebody in your circle.
I look at I read the emails and text messages.
Okay.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do, but that's okay. My point is when you say you never forget, I want you to write down the day and time. Okay. And I want you to remember this. I want you to remember this conversation. And then the next email that you're like, I didn't see that. What are you talking about? Or we didn't have that conversation. I'm organized, buddy. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to put stuff on your calendar.
What I meant to say is I never forget the things that I want to remember.
Exactly. That's it. That's it. That's it. I knew it. I knew it.
No, if I want to remember something, I'll remember it. If I want to forget it. So anyway, congrats, Johnny and his crew. That was pretty cool to see. I still haven't forgotten about it. Like the pictures and the videos, and I'm just watching them go, God, man, it just takes me back, to 95, 96, those years that I was with him and with that show for that first 6 years and, or that 6 years of my career, my first 6 years of my career. And just like, I hate to sound like the old guy, but I just would want to go back, I just want to go back. And what I change, the older I get, I've always tried to pride myself on not having too many regrets, but the older I get, the more regrets I have. And I feel like my body mentally is breaking down from what I really am, which is really, really odd because that's not my MO. My MO is if it's done, it's done. I stand by it and I move forward. But him getting this award just gave me all these, I don't know, these feelings. And it was really, I was talking to my wife about it. I was like, I can't explain it. I don't understand it. It really kind of put me out of sync, this past weekend, when he was getting the award and he was down in South Florida getting the award, we were up in Alabama for my daughter and this orientation stuff. And it knocked me out for a day. Like I was in La La Land. And I don't do that normally. We're sitting here supposed to be concentrating on roll, tide, roll, and all that stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking of 1996, 1995, and all that kind of stuff. It was just a very weird thing. But, I say good, he had a phrase, he probably still uses it to this day, where he says, good things happen to good people. And it's, to him, it did. He's a good person and something good happened to him. And I always believed in that until I got into my career. And I was like, I don't think that's right. I, I look around and I see people in positions and I'm going, that's not a good person. Like, I'm looking at that person, like one person in particular. I look at them, I'm going, that person is a drug user. They're an abuser to women, to people in general, mentally, physically. They have no fucking clue what they're doing. They've snowballed whomever. They're fucking their way into a better position. They're a user and abuser. They've done this in past relationships. I'm now a statistic. That's not a good person. How is that person getting a paycheck?
Yeah.
I do good things. I even, my last gig, the only thing that I ever did as far as get out in the public was a charity event that we over succeeded on. I got in trouble for it. That's crazy that I got in trouble for doing a charity event. What I mean? We're talking about a place that literally told me not to bring your wife to events.
I would love to tell you that I think that the universe works itself out and that bad people get what's coming to them. But, I spent 21 years in the military. And, since 1997 is when I started with the federal government, military and federal government. I can't tell you, man, how many supervisors I had or bosses I had that were like openly racist, openly would drop the N-word, would straight up say, hey, we can't promote so-and-so because he's, and I'm like, how do these people get in these positions where they can make decisions to not ruin, but not further the advancement of careers? And they're that either racist or sexist. I mean, I had supervisors tell me that, women are issued weapons or they're issued guns. And if they get pregnant, that's not something they issued. So they needed to leave. And they would, and it was like, not a big deal, not a big deal. And I always used to say, they're going to get what's coming to them. They're going to get what's coming to them.
Never happens.
No, they didn't. They never did. They would retire. They would go on with their life and they would have this career that everyone goes, wow, look how great they did. When they hurt all of these people along the way and they did evil things, like terrible, terrible things. And yeah, man, to this day, I can't tell you. I think some people, they just get away with it, dude. They just get away with it. And I don't understand it.
Can't do that. It was a similar situation, especially where, I was once at is, they're supposed to be diverse and accepting and all these different things. And, and then behind closed doors, this person will, say the total opposite. Like this, one girl's a lesbian. He's like, I can't stand it. And what she stands for. She goes, and then walk out of the room and be a totally different person. And I'm like, I just saw a picture of, the Pride Month and everybody's wearing t-shirts and this dude with his big belly sticking out. And I'm like, you don't believe in that.
Yeah.
Don't believe in that. Like, just based off of things that you said to me about people that work there. How can you do that? Like, I guess maybe I'm jealous. Maybe I wish that I could play that front, but I can't do it. Like, if I don't believe in something, I'm not going to fake to believe in it because society wants me to do it, or a company wants me to do it, or a business wants me to tell. Like that, one of the only exclusivities that a person has is what they believe in. Whether other people believe in it or not. It blows my mind. And that's why I think I said this on yesterday's episode that we released, is people need to be held accountable. Somebody, the old, forget it. It'll come to them. Karma will get it. Fuck that. Dude, somebody needs to play the world police and call these people out and let them know they need to suffer for their actions, because you can't screw with people's lives. Not everybody will handle, like, let's say my last situation, the way I handled it. Some people will just, God forbid, worst case scenario, right? We're, in the industry, there's so many people losing their jobs right now because of all these changes, and there's more to come. By the end of the year, you'll see a huge decrease in the workforce in the radio industry. Your radio stations are going to be filled with one person, if even. The rest is going to be AI. It's good. It's getting ready to get bad. And, not everybody can jump into doing what I did. Like going back and forth. There's a two-peer by the name of Jordan, and I appreciate your support and I appreciate your honesty on social media, and you're very vocal. But there's a back and forth about podcasting, because of that run that I had on an episode about, the future is going to be subscription. It's going to be more places than now. I can tell you that right now. And he's making the point of like, well, there's so much free stuff. There's always going to be free stuff. And there's, and I'm sitting here trying to tell him that out of the 1 million+ podcasts that exist, only half of those, about 500,000, are active. And out of those active ones, there's a statistic that says if you've got more than 20 episodes, you're in the top 1% of podcasts. Isn't that amazing? So then break that down even further is, you have to separate what your podcast format is. A lot of these celebrities that are doing podcasts, right, that are getting paid right out of the gates because they're celebrities, they have big backing by sponsor or companies because of their celebrity, they're doing it once a month. I mean, once a week, maybe, and it's at their convenience, and they've got producers and they're writing stuff and this and that. I mean, there's some improv, they can do that stuff. Very few podcasts are doing it as often as I'm doing it. Radio shows are, because they just take their radio shows. I did the same thing, and you put it up as a podcast, and it's pretty much just a replay of your radio show live in that market. I'm actually doing at least 4 days out of the week of new content. And you're trying to tell me that that's not worth $4.99 a month? Well, if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to. But I'm sitting here making the point of, this is my job, just like whatever your job is and whatever you charge for your business, I come to you and go, no, that's not worth it. I can get that free somewhere else. Or what are you going to say back to me? You're going to say it's not going to be as good as how I'm going to do it. I hope that's what you would say. Or it's not going to be the same the way that I do it. I would agree with you. That's your exclusivity. This is my exclusivity. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't want to run here. I'm on a rant. It all started with the trophy. So I just get worked up. That's all I do. I get worked up in the business. And it drives me fucking insane. It drives me insane. And you go, well, you're still in the business. Or you said, I'm still in the business. I'm not in the business. This is a different business. Do I want to be in the radio business? I was asked about a couple jobs and I said no, because I don't want to go back to that scenario. No one can make me believe that I won't go back into the same scenario that I just once was in. It's because it's everywhere. That's how they all think. I mean, that's what they all do. They have the same philosophy on what they feel is good content. I disagree with a lot of it. I just do. Do I want to stay in the radio business? Absolutely. But I want to do it in a different capacity. Just because I love business.
I think it's a dying. I don't know. It's like somebody asking you like, hey, do you want to come back to this failing company? It's not something that would make any sense. And right now you're on the right track, in the right industry that you see is evolving. So, there's no reason for you'd want to go back. Why would you, dude? You'd be insane to ever go back, ever go back.
Well, it will never be the same. I mean, the money is not going to be there. The opportunity is not going to be there. Like you see guys like Johnny, who's on, let's be honest, he's on the tail end of his career. I mean, he's, it's just, that's what it is. The radio companies are not hiring people. Like what they paid me to go out to California was ridiculous for that market. Insane. If people in that building knew what they paid me versus what they get paid, and I know how much they get paid because somebody told me, I'm going, oh my God. Like, how do you, especially in that state where you have to make like just shy of $90,000 to maybe live, possibly. Yeah. That state is ridiculously expensive. You know what I mean? But you see like kids getting jobs in their 20s, and right out of the gates, they're making $75,000, $80,000. Radio, you could have somebody that's been in the business for 15, 20 years, and they hire them to do their morning show, and they want to pay them $65,000. Like, what the shit? How does that work?
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
You can't even live. My nephew is 18. He was working at Johnny's Pizza here in Georgia, and he worked there since he was like 15. And he's graduating high school. And Johnny's came out, and the manager said, "Hey, we want you to be a manager at 18." And they're paying him 48,000 a year to start. And he's like, "Dude, I'm not going to college. He's like, I'm going to do this." And I was like, "Well, what are you going to do after that?" And he's like, "I got a plan. Do this, become a branch manager, become a large regional manager, and then essentially he wants to open up his own restaurant." And you show me the numbers, and I'm like, dude, I can't argue with it. I mean, not to mention he's foregoing all the debt that you get in college. Now, granted, he went out and bought a 2024 Mustang 5.0 GT the other day for $50,000, which I didn't think was very smart. But there's still the money when you think about doing something like that. That you can't be, well, you can, but I mean, you have a much better chance of not being fired from starting your own company and getting your own restaurant. But when you're in radio, dude, you could have one bad day, right? Say one thing that wasn't right, which I would be gone probably in a day. And then you're done and you don't have that career anymore.
Well, think about it. I moved my entire family across country, signed a 5-year deal. So, all right, a 3-2. And I was gone in a year. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, you need to look over those contracts better next time.
No, the contract, well, that was part, I think, of my demise was because they didn't understand the contract. There's more to that story, but
oh wait, we had to keep you on. I thought that contract was just for you.
That's why the narrative was that he's too much, because I was like, well, this is in my contracts. Can we, figure this out? And nobody understood it. Nobody understood it. I was like, how you wrote it? How do you not understand it? It's like, you're the ones that put it on paper. It doesn't make any sense. So, well, the other thing is, I've always been a fan of and a subscriber to money's not the end all be all. You do something because you love it. You do something for the passion. And if you're good at it and you're loyal, then eventually that money will come. And that was taught to me by Johnny Magic. And I've always subscribed to that, but I've always seemed to get fucked over by it too. And it's been one of those prove yourself. So then when you go in and say, no, I want this money, then you're a money whore. Then it's the old, well, you need to do it for the team. Well, what about my team, which consists of me, my wife, and my 2 children and 5 dogs? That's my number one team. I got to take care of that team, because they try to mind fuck you on the loyalty aspect of it, but then they do things like what happened to me. You know what I mean? So again, going back to Johnny's award, he navigated those waters. That in itself deserves not only an award, but a lifetime free beer membership. To be able to navigate those waters for this long. Granted, he's been working for good people that, with Linda Bird and the rest of that team over there, Rick Everett and one time Chris Kampmeyer, that market, and that, again, going back to regrets, is I had to leave that market. And that's a whole nother story in itself, but I had to leave that market in order to make my mark. But that market was so well run and so well supported. And that I didn't see at the time,
Yeah. I think there's some industries though, man, like, look at teachers, police officers, firemen, coaches. That money's not there. That money will never be there. And they do it. And I think that's kind of the bar we set as society is, yeah, you can do these very important jobs. And arguably, those are some pretty freaking important jobs. And they get paid peanuts.
Oh.
And you just have to suck it up. Now, unless you're Jamarcus Russell, then it's a little different because then you can get paid a little bit more. But the teachers, things like that, they just get screwed.
It just happened to him?
Yeah. I mean, he pulled a Jason Bailey. He walked in and was like, I need to talk about my pay. And they were like, we're not giving it to you. And he's like, okay.
No. They allegedly stole the check from the high school. Yeah.
It was a donor. Yeah.
So Jamarcus Russell, for those that don't know, I mean, he was an all-star quarterback at LSU and was drafted by the Raiders. I mean, this was years ago. Now they have the reason why rookies in the NFL have rookie contracts because of Jamarcus Russell. It's Marcus Russell rule. He got paid an obscene amount of money to go into the NFL as a quarterback for the Raiders. And he was, arguably next to maybe Ryan Leaf, the biggest bust ever. It didn't click. It didn't work. And so they're like, well, screw this. And they still have to pay this guy this money. So they're like, screw this. We're never paying anybody any of this money ever again. So they passed, the Jamarcus Russell rule. So that's why you have rookie contracts. And that's why you always hear about these standout rookies that are in the last year of their deal. And they're like, hey, I want to negotiate now. Give me my money. And fans that don't get it, they're like, oh, you're just about the money. You're just about the money. You're like, no, dude, if you're lucky enough to get a second contract in the NFL, you need to get paid, because the chances of there being a third and a fourth contract in the NFL are slim to none. So get your money now and then do what you have to do. So Jamarcus Russell then, goes into wherever obscurity, and he's coaching for his his alma mater high school team.
Yeah.
He just gets fired from the job because there was a check that came in for like $75,000, and they find out that he had deposited a check for $75,000 and then took like $55,000 out. The dude allegedly stole the check from his alma mater. I mean, I'm sure there's more to the story, but dude, what happened to all that money? You made more money doing nothing in the NFL than people could even imagine in their entire lives.
I saw something online that said, trusting Jamarcus Russell with that much money is like trusting Chris Farley to watch your Coke. It's like, I mean, because he was a volunteer, right? So he's a volunteer coach. He's not even getting paid. He's just like, hey, look, I'm Jamarcus Russell. I played 3 years for the Oakland Raiders, whatever. And they're like, yeah, you know what? You sucked, but you made it that far.
Right.
So they bring him in. So then they had a guy, and I don't know who this dude is. I would love to know about him, but he wrote the check for $75,000 for, it was something for the school, right? Was it the weight room or something? It was like, it was to upgrade the facilities. And he said he got a weird feeling. Like he gave the check to
Check
and
Russell.
Yeah, that was weird. And he said he started calling him and he wouldn't answer his phone. He started texting him, he wouldn't text back. So dude cancels the check, puts a stop payment on the check. But at this point, it's already in Jamarcus's account. But he had pulled out $55,000 of that. So I guess the other 20 went back to the dude, or the bank didn't, do it, whatever. But it just cracks me up where you're like, in what world, even if you're Jamarcus Russell, do you think I can take this check from Jason Bailey, who's giving me $75,000 to upgrade the weights, and he's never going to check, right? Like, doesn't he think like the guy's going to be like, hey, why does our football team still suck? Why are they all tiny? Well, because they can't work out because there's no weight room. And he's like, wait a minute, I gave Jamarcus that money. And Jamarcus is like, what? I mean, come on, man. Like, idiotic decision by Jamarcus. But I'm also one of those where you read the headline and you're like, yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah. Some things that kind of make you scratch your head. You gave a check to Jamarcus Russell for $75,000. What she from Crazy Town, dies, and the first day that he dies, the headlines are, we don't know why. Why do you
Yeah.
It's a cause of death, accidental overdose? How accidental? Accidental is when you didn't mean to do something. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure that he didn't want to die while injecting drugs in your system that can kill you, but it's not necessarily accidental. Nobody wants to die of cancer, but when somebody dies of cancer, no one says they accidentally died of cancer. Right?
Did you watch the debate?
Oh, I watched some of it. It was so
Okay, thank you. So that's my point. When you watch the debate, there was not one person in America that was going, wow, this is a train wreck. I can't believe how bad this is. Like, everybody was like, Yeah, pretty much what I expected. Nobody was surprised by either party. Nobody was surprised by either part of that debate.
I wish that what CNN would have done with that debate is I wish they wouldn't have done it live. I wish they would have recorded it and then released it afterwards in its entirety. But the only thing they needed to add at the beginning was live from Saturday night. That would have made the world think a little bit differently of us going, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Because I mean, how is it that we have thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands of people every year line up to get on American Idol or The Voice, but yet we only have 2 senior citizens that want to be president of the United States?
Yeah, and because they tear them down, dude. Like my daughter said she wanted to be president the other day, and I'm like, no, you don't. No, you do not. Because you don't want to go through all that. I mean, granted, it used to be a prestigious position that people would be like, wow, like I want to be president someday. Or because people looked at the office, they respected the office. No matter who was in office, you still respected the office. Now, dude, any politics, if you get into politics, there is something wrong with you. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your background is. Be a lawyer. It's better than being a politician because you can't do anything nowadays. Social media. I mean, think about this. When Bees is 40 and they do a presidential debate like that, or they have presidential candidates, think about all the social media that has been out there from when they were 12, 13. And now you're going to tell me that they're going to be squeaky clean and they've never had any issues. Crazy people. So I enjoyed it, dude. I watched the whole thing. It was a train wreck. My favorite part is when they were arguing about the golf handicap. That just made my night because it's like that was the only time you saw both Trump and Biden like fired up a little bit. Like, oh, my handicap's 6. Well, your handicap ain't no 6. I was like, this is it. Like we've hit the bottom. Like we're here. It can't be any worse. So my prediction is that come November, you have 2 different candidates on the ballot.
2 totally
different. I think that's my prediction. I think the Democrats and Republicans are finally going to agree on something and go, you know what? I got an idea. Let's just say, screw it. Come September, we'll throw 2 people out there that are younger, that nobody knows. And we're just going to put them against each other and see what happens. Because it's bad, man. It's bad.
We got Trump with the convictions and then Biden with, I mean, like, that was the saddest thing I've ever seen.
It was bad.
It's out of the equation. Like, if you saw the footage of afterwards.
Yeah.
When Jill had to walk him off. I mean, like, we can't have that. No. I wish there were a law passed that you have to be a certain age to be president. Like in the FBI.
The law is there. You do have to be a minimum age. I think it's like 35.
Minimum, but not max. That's what
you need a max.
Like in the FBI, you can't be in the FBI as an SSA or whatever after 50 something.
57.
You get kicked out. Like they kick you out. So like the SSA in Sacramento, he left when I was there, and great guy, going into the private sector, and that's what they do most of the time. They go into the private sector. It just doesn't make any sense. We have age limit everything. You're an adult at 18. You can join the armed forces at 18. You can buy tobacco at 18. You can drink at 21. You can drive at 16. You can rent a motel room or a car at 25. You can there's all age limit, but yet you can be 129 and still run the United States of America. That is crazy. I don't care if you think Trump is all mind, sound, body, and all his motor skills or not. The dude's still old. And he's going to take a toll. In the next 4 years, presidency ages you times 10. Biden's already past that. I mean, even Obama came out and was like, well, swing and a miss, like, dude, it is so bad. I love the idea. I never even thought about that. Is to just 2K, like they get in a room and go, guys, this is silly. We can't do it. But why now? Why didn't you think of that before?
Well, I think now that you saw it, like, you know, it was just so bad. And don't get me wrong. I mean, you think I'm a huge Trump guy. I don't dislike Trump. I don't dislike Biden. I honestly, my thing is there's some policies here, some policies there. But like you with Saturday Night Live thing, it was embarrassing, dude. Like other countries are looking at this, and Putin's over there like, I was gonna stop at Ukraine, but next stop, London. You know what I mean? Like it's so bad. Like there's nobody that fears us. I don't care if it's Trump or Biden. Other countries are like, yeah, we ain't got to worry about them. And China's over there like, hell yeah. I mean, it was crazy. But yeah, I don't think anybody was shocked. I think everybody kind of knew it was going to happen. But what's funny is next debate, if they do it, which I don't think they will. I think that was the last debate you're going to see of those two gentlemen. If it happens again, nobody's going to be surprised the next day. They're all going to be like, yeah, he's gotten worse.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's
So is he.
there's not as much fanfare with this election just because it's so muddied, and with the court stuff and the motor skills stuff. I mean, it's like, I think we've all just got to a point where we're going, this is ridiculous. That's why like reality television. That's how we should pick our president. Really, you should have a panel of judges from all parties, including independent, and you should have people that want to be president line up outside of whatever arena in different states and audition. And that's what
take like one judge from American Idol, one from America's Got Talent, and one from The Voice, and put them all together. CeeLo, my boy Simon. Well, he's English. I don't think he should be. Paul Abdul do it. Maybe Ryan Seacrest because he's always a part of everything, and then the hot chick Heidi Klum, and you just put them all together and say, pick our president. And you know what? That president would probably be the most popular president in history. They don't even care about their affiliation. Don't even ask their affiliation because it's stupid, because nobody cares about affiliation anymore. But the system's broken. The whole thing is broken. It's done. It's over.
Keep the golden buzzer. Like
I was thinking that, but then somebody might use it on as a joke, like Howie might be like, oh, we've never had a dwarf president. And he's like, boonk. And you're like, oh shit. Like we got a dwarf president.
And then you always know, like, the guy that's going to go to the live shows has got and I grew up, it was really rough, but I love him.
He's talking about my dog has cancer, and well, I lost my job at the mill, but I can play this banjo. And you're like, well, damn, probably be a good president.
I didn't know I wanted to be president until mom got cancer, and she was not doing well. One night she looks at me and, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been doing a lot of drugs. Looks at me, you've got to try out for America for POTUS Idol.
POTUS Idol.
And that's when I took some classes at the local community college, and I'm here on the biggest stage of all, and I'm just hoping to be the next president of the United States. And I just hope you guys like my spiel. But
so Jason, what are you gonna do if you don't win POTUS Idol?
I'm gonna get back in line. We do this in years. I want to get back in line.
I've been doing this in every city. This is the furthest I've made it.
I've been knocking on doors, smiling and dialing, and nobody's asked me to be president. Finally made it part of the live shows.
And they could cut to you while you're working the drive-through at Hardee's, and you're like, "Welcome to Hardee's. This is Jason. Vote for me on POTUS Idol." And they're I mean, anything, man. Anything's better.
Anything. I agree. All right. I was going to tell you about the trip to Alabama. I'm sure Rach and I will recap it on Honey, I Raised the Kids, but I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up in Thursday's released episode. Do want to remind, I will do better with Fuck on this episode, though. Hopefully Brandon will be able to join us for tomorrow's release, and with his grandma and everything. Podcasts and Pours 3. Tickets available, distinctgrace.com. Chuck's band Distinct Grace will be performing for like 50 hours. All right, they're going to
2 hours.
Best party band you could possibly be around. Plus, they're going to release new music. They got a new album coming out with Will Turpin of Collective Soul producing it. So you'll be able to hear those tunes. It is a lot of fun to be around Distinct Grace when they are on stage. And you can do that October 12th, Tannery Row, Buford, Georgia. It is Podcast and Pours 3. live podcast from us. So we'll be out there all set up. If you got a story, you want to join us, feel free. Maybe we'll get our friend Alex Moreno, who was on the released episode yesterday, to join us. Acoustic karaoke contest, $1,000 cash and prizes. We'll have merch, special guests. We got a long time until October 12th. So we're still adding to this. Chuck is working on getting hotel deals and discounts like we did for Podcast and Pours 2, but it's a blast. So just, if you can get your tickets now and make plans for October now, they're cheaper than they will be as we get closer to the event. They're going to go up as we get closer. Right now, they're only $20. $20. That's all we're asking. And it's all presented by Inspect All Pest Services. Inspect All Pest Services. Thank you to Nick and the crew. They're great. So termites and pests, and they'll do pressure washing and insulation. They are taking care of you in Atlanta and the surrounding area. InspectAllPestServices.com. So there you go. All right. So because I didn't do the Alabama stuff, actually, you know what? I'm going to say better with, well, now, because then we'll have one question. I'm going to do that here today. All right.
Whatever we do, it's better with what? Everything's better with the
So here's the thing is I based the bet, with Brandon not being on the last couple of days because of his grandmother situation, and we never got into my orientation stuff. The Better with Fuck is all about Alabama. So I did orientation for my daughter, tell the whole story on Thursday's release. It was actually not only mind blowing, but mind opening. A lot's changed. Let's just put it that way. And a little side note, University of Alabama, Roll Tide, that is a beautiful institution. Absolutely amazing institution. And the people that are running that joint are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I'll tell the whole story on tomorrow's released episode. So Better with Fuck, the idea behind the bit is fuck. The word fuck is the most powerful word in the English language if used properly. You got to use it properly. So what I do is I'll usually take movie lines and I'll insert the word fuck. It makes it ha-ha funny. We turn it into a game. Chuck, since you're riding solo on this one, you'll get a point for the movie and a point for the year. You only have 3 guesses for the movie and the year, okay? Because you're by yourself. You can't go back and forth.
Oh, it sucks.
All right? If you're able to give me 3 points, you will win. Okay, just got to half right. All right.
I can do it.
Ready for the first one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here you go. These are Better with Fuck, best movie lines from Alabama movies. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
How's a family?
You expect me to tell you you look good? Would they run out of soap down at the Piggly Wiggly since I left?
They laugh at that up north or wherever it is you've been?
You knew where I was. And don't even pretend you spent all this time
Fucking.
me.
Well, fucked you, all right. But at this range, my aim is bound to improve.
Hey, fuck you. All right. Okay. The movie is
Sweet Home Alabama.
done.
The actress is Reese Witherspoon.
Didn't ask, but nicely done.
The actor is Josh Lucas.
Nicely done. Didn't ask though.
And the year,
Oh, only I see.
2004. Higher or lower? I only got 2 more guesses.
You tell me.
That's not fair.
I'd go lower, but it could be higher.
2002. Dude, you've got to give me more than 3 for that. That was a unbelievable run right there.
You got 2. You did good. Josh Lucas just got engaged to his TV meteorologist girlfriend.
Great actor, by the way.
I love Josh Lucas.
Me too.
I wish he were a bigger deal than what he is. I mean, he's a big deal, but I love Josh Lucas. What was that movie? Poseidon that he was in?
Oh yeah.
He's in Yellowstone. He did good. All right, you ready for the next one? Better with Fuck, movie lines from Alabama. This is where my daughter will be going to school come August. Here we go. Next one.
I like to picture Jesus in a tuxedo T-shirt because it's like I want to be formal, but I'm here to fuck too. Because I like to fuck. So I like my Jesus to fuck.
I like to picture Jesus as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
All right.
Oh man, Shake and Bake. Talladega Nights.
Nope.
The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Okay.
John C. Reilly, obviously.
Yes.
Will Ferrell.
Yes.
I'm just trying to figure out the year. You know what's sad is I watched that movie 2 days ago. 2008. Higher or lower?
I'd go lower, but it could be higher.
2006. Dude, come on. How are you not like blown away right now? I am freaking killing it.
Blown away is getting it right on the first guess.
Well, who does that? I'm getting close.
People that blow me away. That's who does that. By the way, Talladega Nights, only like a very small portion of that was filmed in Alabama, like at the racetrack. Like just like Talladega.
Where was it filmed?
The rest of it, God, I saw it the other day. Wasn't in Alabama, somewhere else.
California?
Might have been Georgia. I don't know. But they only did some of they only did a little filming at actual Talladega. Here we go. Last one. Better with fuck. Best movie lines from Alabama movies.
A few months later, they invited me and the ping pong team to visit the White House. So I went again. And I fucked the President of the United States again.
All right. The movie?
Forrest Gump.
Oh, you need this.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah. I didn't ask that.
Oh, dude, I think I know that. I think I know it. I think I'm going to pull it out first throw.
You're going to lose the game.
That's stupid.
Other points.
2000. I was saying 2003 minus 5.
2003 minus 5, which would leave you at 1995.
1998. What is wrong with your math?
That's wrong.
Oh, 1995.
Trick.
Oh, come on, dude.
One more guess. I will tell you lower.
Wow. 1994? Oh.
I thought
it's been 30 years.
I thought you were going to go 93 because you're always doing twos.
Yeah. That's amazing that it's before 1999.
And
man.
Most people know this. The bench that he sat on, not in Alabama.
Where's it at? It's in the Smithsonian. It's in the Smithsonian now, right?
Savannah, Georgia. Right there, downtown Savannah, right in front of the courthouse, I believe. Yeah, I don't think the bench is there anymore. Yeah.
That thing's valuable.
But I've been to this spot. I've been to that spot before. But he lived in Greenbow, Alabama.
That's right before he found out that his love of his life has AIDS, right?
Yeah, he's waiting on the bus. He's waiting for the bus. That's chocolate. All right, thebaileyshow.com. That is the website for the show. Give us likes, your follow for all socials. You can find us on all the social medias there on the website. Just send you to the website. All that's there. Subscribe to the newsletter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. That is free. And because this is a Freebae episode, if you want to hang out with us for all the episodes, please subscribe to the podcast, thebaileyshow.com. It is much appreciated. It's very, very simple. It's $4.99 a month. It's not a big deal. You won't even know that it's being taken out of your bank account, and you'll be entertained through the entire month with content that is better than anything you're listening to on the radio. So that's that. Podcast Emporious 3, distinctgrace.com. Get your tickets there, October 12th, Beaufort, Georgia, Tannery Row. And if you want to be a sponsor of the show and join all of our great sponsors, podcasting, advertising, digital works. I'm working on some things behind the scenes with some possible new sponsors that are going to be awesome and very helpful to you. So I love when I see posts of people that have gone to our sponsors and used them. Somebody just signed up with FBC Insurance, Sparky's Lawn Service, Inspectall, the Mad Dog. I mean, it's all great. Good stuff. TheBaileyShow.com. Just get a hold of me there. All right, Chuck, you got anything before we get out?
Yeah. Make sure you check your irrigation systems. Make sure you call the bee man if you have any issues. And if you offer him a free night stay in your backyard in a tent, he'll probably do it for free.
Wish the B-Man well wishes on social media and hoping that his grandmother's doing okay. All right, look, thanks for joining us. We appreciate all of you, your two peers. It's awesome. Until next time.
Thanks for listening. Till next time, check out thebaileyshow.com. Make sure you like, share, follow on all socials. I leave you with these parting words.
Never got a pink slip either. You know what I would get? A guy would come around to my desk and say, "Get the fuck out of here!"
What do we want to talk about?
Subscribe at thebaileyshow.com.
Yeah, baby.